Welcome to Education in Focus, powered by the Center Square. I'm your host, Esther Wickham. Colorado's K-12 safety anonymous reporting system surpassed over 30,000 reports in the 2024-25 school year. Joining us to dive deeper into this anonymous tip line is Elise Apel, reporter for Michigan and Colorado with the Center Square. Elise.
Hi, Esther. Thanks for having me on. So I wanted to talk about the anonymous safety reporting system there in Colorado. It is called the Safe to Tell system. And in the 2024-2025 school year, so this last school year, it actually had 30,461 reports, which means that 7 out of the last 10 months actually had more reports than the previous year. And this was the most reports that they've ever seen. So this system was first implemented in 2024. It operates all year round, even outside of the school year, actually. Obviously, during the summer months, there aren't as many reports. But during the school year, it sees thousands of reports every single month. And it actually allows anyone to make a report. So school staff, teachers, students, community members, even parents can go in and actually make these anonymous safety reports that reports threats to either their safety or if they think someone else is a threat to someone else's safety or their own safety. So those reports could be anything about bullying, suicide, school safety threats, anything like that. So Colorado is really holding the system up as being a really good system for them to have in place, and is really calling it quite the success.
Yeah, and over the past year, how you kind of went into the specifics of what these reports, look like and what are usually sent in. But could you kind of go into specifics of, broken up into each category, how many reports under each topic are usually sent in over this past year?
Yeah, for sure. So in June specifically, which is what I really dug into was the June numbers. There was nearly 20% of the reports were mental health concerns. So that includes concerns about suicide or anything like that. 15% were reports about school safety, and then 10% was concerns about abuse or exploitation. Another 11% was concerns about community safety. 7% was actually concerns about substance use. And then 7% was bullying, and 3% was concerns about violence. And so then once those reports are made, parents, there's a couple different ways that they will then go with that report. But it could be that parents might be notified. In some cases, local authorities might go out and actually do a welfare check, and check on that student, that the report is about. And sometimes counseling is even recommended. Also, in this past school year is actually really interesting. When you dig into the numbers, actually only 2% of the reports that were submitted were found to be false. So it seems to really be a system that's really working for Colorado.
Great. And as you said, there's this rising concern around student mental health. In your article, you stated this was essentially or not you, but the experts, stated that this was a rising crisis. So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, really since COVID-19, education experts, school safety experts have really been flagging concerns about student mental health. And this has been kind of a talking point. But I think this report really shows, kind of dives into, this is actually a real problem for the students, not only in Colorado, but really across the nation. So kind of looking at the reports for the last school year, over 3,000 of the reports were related to suicide threats. Which is really, really scary, I think, especially for a lot of families and parents. 2,700 of those were related to bullying. And then 2,500 of those were related to school safety concerns, specifically actually from staff. So this is obviously a growing problem. Experts, like you said, experts are really flagging this as being an issue since COVID-19. They've really called this a growing crisis, for America's, students. There was a report actually recently from the Colorado Health Institute, and they actually, said in that report that Colorado's kids are in distress. That report, as kind of a solution to this, they're pushing for universal mental health screenings in schools. So currently, schools have vision or hearing tests in place, but they're actually pushing for mental health screenings for every student, and that might be the solution to really fixing this problem.
Wow. Well, I'm glad to hear that there is solutions to this rising concern, and glad that you were able to bring light to this in your reporting. Thanks so much, Elise, for coming on and sharing what you found. And listeners can follow more education stories like this at thecentersquare.com.